This is the Extra Point Podcast from Arizona's family.
All right, late night emergency podcast here in the Extra Point studio. Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun. We found out we were live at the Super Bowl. We walked out to the car to put up all of our gear and went, oh my goodness, it has happened. Let's hear from the man who called this back in the summer. Flex from Jersey came on our show, said it was going to happen, to be patient. It has happened. Flex, sweet vindication. How did this all come together?
Man, it was a whirlwind, man. It was a whirlwind. First of all, shout out to Matt Ishbia and that whole front office, man. They've been diligent behind the scenes and they've been patient. You know, I think we did a show back in August, right after Kevin decided to go back. And I'm sure we could pull up the tape, but it was with you. And we talked, I talked about it, and I had told you, my indications were this Brooklyn thing. There was more of a, pause on the situation. It was never completely done. There was always things behind the scenes. And so you patiently wait, and the Suns give them credit. They patiently waited. They didn't jump on premature panic moves because they knew all along, just like we had been reporting all summer, that Kevin was emphatic about wanting to come to Phoenix. It was very clear to the Nets, this is where I want to be and I don't want to be anywhere else. And so the Suns, knowing that, they just played the long game and they let that situation implode in Brooklyn. And as soon as the Kyrie thing, came to light, the ball got back rolling again, and the Suns were diligent and aggressive, and they got it done, man. So good for them. Good for Planet Orange. Should
we start planning the championship parade right now?
I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if I want to go that far yet because I'm a humble dude, but I will say this: being able to get Kevin Durant while keeping DeAndre Ayton and adding that with Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And then, my understanding, TJ Warren's coming back in this deal.
Tony Buckets
is coming back in this deal. And, I've been working the phones around the clock for the last 48 to 72 hours. And I will tell you this, the buyout market is going to be interesting. Somebody just got traded from LA today that's going to probably get bought out by Utah. And I've been told behind the scenes that he definitely has interest in coming to Phoenix. Now, whether Phoenix is going to actually go that route, that's a whole different situation. But I can confirm that Russell Westbrook has interest in coming to Phoenix. And this was before Kevin Durant was acquired by the Suns. So there's going to be some interesting stuff behind the scenes. I don't think the Suns are completely done. And I will tell you this, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for a long time. This team's going to be good.
Yeah, this is an absolute game changer. I mean, you told us this back in the summer, and I think the longer it went on, you thought, maybe it just won't happen. I think that's just kind of human nature. So as this continued, even 2 weeks ago, what do you think the chances were of this getting done right up until when Kyrie went to Dallas?
If I'm going back 2 weeks ago, the one thing that I was hearing at that time was that, Kyrie's agent, who's his stepmother, they were having some serious issues with clauses and things that Brooklyn was trying to throw into a deal. And so, if I'm thinking back 2-3 weeks ago, I was getting wind that the Kyrie situation could eventually implode and that they could lose him for nothing. But it was going to take Kyrie to come out and put the request the way he did for it to really get the ball rolling. And so if I'm being truly transparent and truly honest, I still thought the Suns might have waited until the summer, but I had a very good feeling that they were not going to sacrifice the opportunity to get Kevin, knowing that Kevin wanted to be here since the summertime. So I think if the Kyrie thing doesn't play out, the Suns would have probably made a small move around the edges and eventually revisited this in the summer. But once Kyrie said he wanted to go and the ball got rolling, I started to feel pretty confident that this could be the end result. But in this business, you got to play the game, you got to follow the rules, and you got to kind of sit on some stuff. And so it was a lot of sleepless nights, brother. But again, I'm glad they got it done.
Have you slept at all? I mean, you've gone through. I mean, you look at Reddit, man. I mean, there have been times where I've just been like, leave Flex alone. Like he's doing a job here. How are you doing personally?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I had back surgery in October, so I'm recovering from my third back surgery from playing a lot of basketball. But I'm doing okay. But yeah, man, it's difficult, Mark, because this is one of those things where being on the East Coast and having a lot of contacts on the West Coast, the hours. There's times I'll get a call from somebody in the West Coast and it's midnight, but it's 2, 3 in the morning over here, depending on the time change.
This is one of those times.
This is one of those times, brother. So, I was told emphatically, I was talking to my co-host, Dan Duarte, about a show, and he asked me earlier, he said, "Hey, you want to do a show tonight?" And I said, "No, I can't because I got a feeling something's going to go down." And I was like, "I don't want to risk missing a call or a text about this." So we postponed it for tomorrow. And then it was literally maybe, I don't know, an hour and a half later, it kind of broke. So, yeah, and again, man, I'm on fumes, brother, but this is part of the business, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm just glad that the Phoenix Suns and the fans get to rejoice. I'm not a victory lap type of guy. That's not my thing. I'm a humble dude. I know people are running around saying, "Hey, Flex, you should be dunking on people." And I'm like, nah, man, listen, I report what I hear to the best of my ability. I try to be honest. I try to be fair. Some people like it, some people don't. But in this case, there was just too much information from people that I completely trust, that there was no reason for me to backtrack on this. It was like I said, if you got good information, you ride with it and you deal with the consequences. You know what I mean? And in this case, it came to fruition, and I'm glad it's done.
Well, I mean, it's definitely admirable to see how you've hung in there and stuck to it. And man, we just appreciate you giving us some time here, late night here in Arizona. How much do you think Matt Ishbia taking over today and just bringing in that new era of Suns basketball got this thing done?
I think a lot. Yeah, I've been hearing about Matt and behind the scenes a lot of things that guy does. And the one thing I will say about Matt Ishbia that I've heard is that his contacts, even before becoming the owner of the Phoenix Suns, were tremendous around the NBA. And so, he's one of those guys who's very thorough, and his relationships is just a guy that people want to be around. And so I think him coming in and forcing the issue and saying, "Hey, I want to get this down. I want to get the ownership stuff done before the trade deadline." I think it had a lot to do with it. And again, I think that you had to get Kevin on board with this. And he was on board last year. Kevin wanted to be in Phoenix, but I think Matt taking over kind of pushed this over the finish line, because I think at that point, Kevin is saying, okay, emphatically, that's where I want to be. I want to play for this type of guy. And Matt Ishbia has the what to say, hey, we're gonna do this, because I played the game of basketball at Division I level. I've 3 national championship, 3 Final Fours, and I know what it takes. And I know that when I'm looking at a generational talent like Kevin Durant, what you don't want to do is live with regret. You don't want to sit back and say, what if I did this or what if I did that? So this is one of those situations, a little bittersweet, because I guess we can talk about what we gave up and what we're going to lose. But ultimately, I don't think you could pass up on Kevin Wayne Durant, man. I just don't think you can.
I didn't know his middle name was Wayne. That makes him even more of a sniper. And Ishbia's Matt Ishbia's brother Justin, who's also going to be one of the governors here, was telling us today. He said, "Yeah, we were just on a call about something," and Jody Yaler from over at Fox 910 said, "Well, what was it?" And he just kind of like got a big smile on his face. So obviously they had been talking about this, and I that kind of piqued my interest. As far as it goes with Brooklyn, I mean, you mentioned way back in the summer they had to play nice. How nice did they have to play? How awkward do you think this was in Brooklyn this year?
It was very awkward, man. It was always, they were always walking on eggshells. And it's crazy because I think I did a show with NBC Sports, NBC Northwest out of Rip City Radio out in Portland, maybe a month ago, and maybe a little longer. It was right around when the Nets were on a 12-game winning streak. And they brought it up because we were just talking basketball, and they said, "Hey, how are things in Brooklyn?" And I said, the crazy thing is, they're on a 12-game winning streak and they're playing some of the best basketball in the NBA, but people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And so even back then, there was just an uneasiness about everything, because the reality was the minute they didn't re-sign Kyrie to the extension, they knew that the writing was on the wall. It was just, a matter of time, Mark. And at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving delivered Kevin Durant. And one thing I will say from my conversations behind the scenes is, and this is why I think Kevin is in Phoenix. I'm actually going to give the Nets some credit based on conversations I've had, because the Nets were emphatic about not wanting to give Kyrie what he wanted. You know, they went on record and said, we're not trading him to the Lakers because that's what he wants. But the flip side of that was, you know, my conversations and my discussions when it came to Kevin was different. Kevin was a good soldier. Kevin said, hey, listen, I came here, I rehabbed, I got on the court, I did everything required. And I even went against my wishes in the summer and still tried again. And so at this point, I did my job. I think it's only right that you allow me to do what I want to do rather than was, you know, maybe best for the Nets. And to the Nets' credit, I think they took that and ran with it and said, you know what, it's only right that we do right by Kevin, because Kevin was a good soldier. And so, yeah, it was always tumultuous behind the scenes, but I think the Nets did good by Kevin on this deal.
All right, we're going to let you get some sleep. Just leave me with this. Where can we find you tomorrow discussing this? And what's the next big piece of news you're following?
Well, I mean, the buyout market's interesting. Like I said, I think Russell Westbrook is a guy you got to keep your eye on now. I don't think the Suns are done. And you can find me. You know, you my guy, man. You can find me. You need me tomorrow, man. You just hit me up. I'm not gonna get much sleep, maybe 2-3 hours, and then I'll be right back on it. So if you need a recap tomorrow and you need me to jump back on and talk about some other details of what might be coming, and based on what I'm hearing, man, I'm all for it, man. You're a real one. You've always been a real one, man. And I appreciate you guys for all your support. And yeah, I'm here for you, brother. So you can find me on you know where to find me, brother. Just hit me on a direct line. I got the bat line. I got the bat phone on me, brother.
That means a lot. You know what? We have these other two huge sporting events here in the Valley of the Sun tomorrow. So, and by the way, whose idea was it to put the trading deadline in the middle of Super Bowl week? Come on,
dude. Trade deadline, the golf tournament, Super Bowl. Hey, by the way, can I say one last thing before I jump?
Absolutely.
Before I go, brother?
Yeah.
Shout out to my man, David Tyree. My man, David Tyree, my brother. Very, I mean, when I say he's my brother, he's my brother. He's out there doing some work. It's called the Catch Camp. He's out there.
Yeah, I had him on Friday.
Okay, so that's my brother, man. Me and David Tyree go way back, and it was 15-year anniversary of the Catch in Glendale. So he's out there and he's doing his thing, and I was hoping to go out there with him and spend some time with him, but I couldn't. But I just want to share that, man. One of my best friends in the world is my brother. He's out there doing some great stuff. So shout out to David Tyree and the Catch Camp and everything they're doing out there in Glendale.
Yeah, he was at Apollo High School last Friday and Saturday hosting a free camp. If you go back 3 episodes in the podcast, you can hear the whole conversation. You have Ishbia, Stephen A. Smith. Man, this has been a big league week on the Extra Point Podcast. So, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Get some sleep. God bless you. And keep bringing the news. Sweet vindication here for Flex from Jersey.
I love you, my brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for the time. And anytime you need me, man, hit me up.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.